Good morning to everyone. I hope we had a wonderful week. Good morning, Pippa Dot, Kitty Coo. Good morning. Welcome to this morning's Page 2 News. I hope you had a wonderful week. Hi. Would you like to come say hello to people?
Oh, are you streaming right now?
Yes.
Wow.
Same time every
Good
weekend.
thing I did
No,
not.
come say hello. Watch out for the cord. We have a special guest in the house. No, see, look. You have to get a little lower. There you go. What's up?
Oh, no, I was just coming in to remind you that I was going to breakfast with Marilyn. Um, so I'm not going to be in the house
Okay,
until later.
all right. Um, I'm leaving at 10:30 again. So
Hi, guys.
good morning, Gayla. Morning, cement shoes. Cheryl, good morning. Well, I'm happy to be here with you. My health turned bad. Hey, hope Miss comes in and says hello. She did. That is Crystal. Crystal. Pippa Dot, I muted it because we were talking. Me and my wife were talking about something I didn't necessarily want to broadcast. It's all right when we talk about true crime or things that I want to share, but there are some things, and when we mention names, don't want to mention those names and locations of friends and family. I kind of keep them off the channel. Good morning, Francie. Everyone remember to be on all messages or live messages and not top. That is absolutely true. Very true, Kitiku. Give it another minute here for people to pop in and then we'll get their notifications. Let's see if I got a notification this morning. I did. I got a notification that I'm live. That's a good thing. It's a hit or miss if it's ever going to work. I always tell people make a post-it note or write it on a piece of paper, write it on the calendar every Saturday morning and Sunday evening at the same time. 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Saturday and 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sunday. Sunday. And I'm sorry that if you're seeing it and it's darker on this side, I had a light go out About 10 minutes before I started this morning, the light, it's right there, that illuminates this side of the screen, burnt out. Pippadoc got a notification this morning. Good morning, Ivory Lady. All right, let's get this morning's page 2 going. Page 2 news. This is the 258th episode of Page 2 News. The news you need to know, the stories others won't dare to cover, the lives of serial killers, entertainment, and so much more. This program documents actual crimes and offenses by criminals. Some of the content covered here may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Now, there's a lot of shout outs. We had a lot of people who renewed membership and new subscribers from last week. JDR is now a channel member, something to talk about channel membership again. Fresh Peach, Patricia AK Delicate, Ryan Hawkins, Miles Dent gave a donation to the investigation fund. Oh, there's more. Daniel Rogers, Susan T, Crystal K, Aaron Guilford, Mosby L, Viking Lore, Sandra Carroll, Saint Morship, Renee Ray Renee, Teresa Lutzen, Scott M, Batman is back, Janelle D, Miss Catty, Raccoon Bite. Yeah, he's been on and off again, subscriber and channel member, but he renewed his membership and he renewed his and is now a subscriber again. Sammy Theater, Carol Goldsmith, Daniel D, and Weston Dudley. Welcome to everyone who is a new channel member and new channel subscriber. Those who gave donations to the investigation fund, thank you very much. If you did not see your name just now on those three, it may take 2 to 3 days before I get notification that you are a channel member or subscriber, or supporter. I get notification right away for donations to the investigation fund, but some of them are delayed. There were 21,867 people worldwide between 1946 and 2018 that were listed as experts at folding clothes and sheets. They used to hold an annual convention, sort of. This skill set has since ended. What were the 21,867 people that were considered experts at folding clothes and sheets? They worked in the hospitality and hotel industry. And every year, at the annual conventions that they would hold in either Las Vegas or in Atlanta, Georgia, they would test their skills in time and accuracy against each other in these competitions at folding clothing and bed sheets and other sheets. Now, in 2018, this ended. To this day, they still hold the annual conventions for hospitality, and hotel management and stuff like that, but they do not do this like timed event against each other of folding sheets and stuff like that anymore. The more you know moment. Public service announcement. If someone, particularly a serial killer, is chasing you on foot, you should avoid looking back. This can slow you down and make you less focused on escaping. Instead, focus on getting away as quickly as possible and assessing the situation to determine the safest course of action. Public service announcement. If a serial killer is chasing you on foot, don't look back, just keep on running. Old business, updates, corrections, leftover tidbits from weeks before. We have nothing really left from last week, so let's just move forward to new business. New business stories from around the U.S. that news channels and content creators of news, in quotes, channels ignore or won't cover. Is it really delayed justice? The Mendez brothers, Eric Mendez, 54, and Lyle Mendez, age 57, were resentenced to 50 years to life in prison on May 13th of 2025, making them eligible for parole. The resentencing came nearly 30 years after they were convicted for murdering their parents, Josie and Kitty Mendez, in their Beverly Hills, California home in 1996. A parole hearing that was initially set for June 13th, but has now been rescheduled for August 21st and August 22nd. The California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, the CDCR, announced Monday, May 19th, per ABC News. California Governor Gavin Newsom could potentially seek to grant the brothers clemency and grant clemency at any time. He could do it today or tomorrow or whenever. Though he has said that his decision will not be made until after their final hearing, which is the parole hearing, and put it in the hands of the parole board. Thus far, Newsom, who is age 57, has requested the parole board conduct a comprehensive risk assessment investigating into whether the brothers could pose a risk to the public safety should they be released. According to ABC News, prior to the CDCR's announcement, it seems that the parole board hearing that was scheduled for June 13th was just the governor's clemency path in order to give him insight into the decision on whether to grant the brothers clemency or not. In a nutshell, Governor Newsom needed to have at least one formal meeting from the parole board in order to open up the door for him to offer clemency. At this point, he says that in his office, not him directly, but his office says he's going to wait until after the parole board meeting. If they decide to parole him, great. He doesn't have to offer them clemency. But if they don't offer him clemency, he can still offer it to them, which then they would be released within 24 hours. Paging Frank White, please pick up the courtesy phone. One of the strangest things that came out of the Diddy trial this week was in reference to Biggie Smalls. To protect Combs from fans and prying eyes, hotel rooms would often be booked under the name Frank Black. Biggie used the name Frank White to book hotel rooms as he traveled across the U.S., Kaplan testified. The alias was a play on Frank White, a nickname for the late rapper Notorious B.I.G., aka Biggie Smalls. Next, you can't handle the truth. Karen Reed spoke to reporters after week 5 murder trial. She fumbled at parts of her story and seemed well rehearsed in other parts. A defiant Karen Reed tells reporters that she is anxious for everyone to learn what we know, and it's going to be a bombshell following the 5th week of testimony in her murder trial in Denham, Massachusetts on Wednesday, May 21st of 2025. So far, it's been an awful lot of what's been covered in the previous trials. What they know and is a bombshell has yet to be said. I find it very curious that her attorneys are still allowing her to make statements to the public. I would just say, look, just stop right now. You steal it, we will sell it. No questions asked is the next one. Sun Valley, Los Angeles, KABC, that's the ABC affiliate out of Los Angeles. A federal bust ended with the arrest of 13 suspects linked to an American organized crime ring. Their theft charges included attempted murder, kidnapping, illegal firearms possession, bank and wire fraud, and cargo theft. Armed with search warrants, investigators with the Department of Homeland Security and the help of local police departments raided a Sun Valley home and other locations across Southern California and Florida early Tuesday morning. The U.S. Attorney's Office said $83 million in merchandise was stolen from online retailer Amazon as part of a cargo theft ring run by the members of the syndicate. Those members were taken into custody this past Tuesday. Oops, our bad. A North Carolina sheriff's office is under heavy scrutiny after crashing a funeral earlier this month and arresting an innocent man mourning the death of his brother, who they mistook for a homicide suspect. The Lee County Sheriff's Office said in a statement attempting to explain its actions on social media that its investigation received information from multiple separate sources indicating that the suspect wanted in a 1995 homicide would be at the funeral for Kevin Seagull Smith, who died earlier this month. Lee County Sheriff's Office investigators were searching for Willard Smith, who they say has used several aliases, including family members' names, while successfully evading police for 30 years. One of which is the name of Willard Partridge, which was listed in the obituary as a surviving brother. The sheriff's office said tips also say that he has come back to the area on previous occasions to visit family. There's video that you can find online where someone at the funeral was initially sitting in a chair at the graveside service. And you see the sheriff's department with the SWAT team jump out of vehicles with M16s and handguns pulled on the entire funeral service. And then you see them, the guy who was sitting in the chair who's filming this stands up and kind of backs away. He's backing towards officers, but only some of them. But he's keeping the funeral services and graveside services in focus. And they just walk right up to one guy and didn't ask him his name before they put the cuffs on him, and they started leading him away. Now, according to an Associated Press, additionally, the individual that they're looking for, Willard Smith, they say that he's used family names and has gone by Willard Partridge. According to the Associated Press, the state police do not list any of those, Willard Smith or other known family members as aliases. The state police don't have it listed, but according to Lee County Sheriff's Office, they do. They have several family members listed as the aliases for the individuals that they're looking for, but the state police don't. Why is it, the state police have it and the county sheriff has it? You got to wonder, somebody's dropping the ball, either the state police or the sheriff. Wanted. Take a good look at this picture, especially if you live anywhere on the East Coast, and particularly New York. This woman is wanted. New York police is looking for Light Brown complex woman who was last seen wearing black shoes, a black jacket, and with a black bag. She stabbed a photographer in the back with a pair of long scissors. These scissors would be ones that would be used in the garment industry for cutting fabric. These are not like, hey, these are manicure scissors or something small like that. They were a long pair of scissors. It happened May 5th when a Shutterbug photographer told police he was snapping photos in front of Sounds of Brazil, a popular restaurant and nightclub in the city's Soho neighborhood. Here's another photo of her from a better angle. If you have any information regarding this incident, you're asked to call the New York City Police Department's Crime Stopper hotline at 577 tips, which makes out to 8477. Or if you're a Spanish speaker, you can call 1-888-57-PISTA, which is 74782. The public can also submit tips by logging on to Crime Stoppers website on Twitter, now known as X, at NYPD tips is the link that you can leave the tip on X if you know anything about this woman or who she is. FBI press releases. See something, say something. News and information from the FBI press releases for this past week. If you're watching this afterwards or want to come back and watch it later, you can click on these links. They're all just links from press releases from this week from the FBI. A sex offender out of Minnesota is the first one. Gangs in South Carolina. West Virginia correction officer gets 17 years. And a Montana man says he has a bomb, got 10 years. These are, again, from the Department of Justice and the FBI. But if you're watching it later, you can click on them and read the entire story from the FBI's website. Serial killer and killer corner. You will die to get away. News from around the world regarding investigations in serial killings and murder. Case number 1. New evidence has come to light in the case of missing women who vanished from the Tacoma, Washington and Olympia, Washington area that investigators believe may be pointing to a previously unknown serial killer that worked the area between 1999 and 2005. As all the statement said is that they have collected new evidence. It doesn't say exactly what type of evidence was collected recently, but they believe this all comes back to a serial killer who was previously unknown, who was working the area of Tacoma, Washington to Olympia, Washington, which is a pretty good distance, between 1999 and 2005. Case 2. Law enforcement isn't saying yet. However, a person close to the case said they believe they may be close to releasing the name of another Jane Doe that was connected to Samuel Little's killing spree. This would be the 96th victim. Law enforcement is awaiting test results from the state crime lab to see if the profile matches Little. This victim has been known, and they are now just getting around to testing. There's such a backlog of DNA testing that has to be done. And a dead serial killer doesn't exactly take the top of the list on priority for testing DNA evidence. But they believe this Jane Doe, who they have had in evidence of, and I believe they had the complete body from back from when she was murdered. But they're testing it to see if this woman actually, who is listed as only Jane Doe, because her body, was never solved. Crime was never solved of who killed her. But it would be, again, the 96th victim of Samuel Little if it comes back to him. Case number 3, Matthew Lee Johnson, age 49, a Texas inmate who set a great-grandmother on fire during a convenience store robbery, was executed by lethal injection on Tuesday, May 20th at the state penitentiary in Huntsville, Texas. As I look at each of you today, he said, I can see her on that day. He said, according to the Associated Press, I please ask for your forgiveness. I never meant to hurt her. Well, Matthew Lee Johnson, you did. And I don't know if there's video of that actual incident, but there is definitely coverage of the actual incident itself at the convenience store. She was just another patron in the store that he set on fire. Entertainment news from Hollywood, literature, and more, featuring moments celebrities had never happened, along with stories you as a crime buff may find interesting. I'm an idiot. Let's face it, that is Britney Spears, ladies and gentlemen. Britney Spears, huh? I wonder what she did this time. Britney Spears' latest vacation ended on a sour note when the singer was reprimanded for her in-flight behavior. Huh, what a surprise. Multiple sources confirmed to the Associated Press that while traveling from Cabo San Lucas to Los Angeles with her security team, the toxic singer was drinking alcohol and lit a cigarette during the flight, which is a violation of federal aviation regulations. The move alarmed flight attendants on the charter plane, who insisted that Spears, age 43, put out the cigarette, which she did. She, however, took out another, mocking the employee, and daringly said, "I'll smoke if I want to, bitch." Authorities were contacted mid-flight. When the plane landed at LAX, Spears was met by authorities and warned about her in-flight conduct and was free to leave, the Associated Press has learned. That she was not on a commercial flight. This was a charter flight, a private plane that her and her security force were on. It had 2 flight attendants, 2 pilots, and a navigator on the plane. When the flight attendant came up to her and asked her to put out the cigarette, the flight attendant said later on she threw it in her drink and then started to verbally assault her. And that one of the things that she said again was, "I'll smoke it. I want to, bitch." End quote. And if she did this on a commercial flight, she would have been arrested, and then fined for it. But since it was a private airline and a private charter plane, she was not arrested. She was reprimanded again for her behavior. And she was told that they do not wish to do service with her in the future. This is not her own plane. This was a rented charter plane and flight crew. But Britney Spears, huh? She's up to the same old shit all over again. If I was Britney Spears, I would just stay away from alcohol and drugs. I mean, it seems to be the root of a lot of her, ill behaviors. Questions asked to me this week, some comical, some serious, some just bizarre in nature. Comical, bizarre, serious as they come each week. Question of the week asked to me. You said no more links, which I appreciate. Last week, there were 4 or 5 links. What gives? This was asked by Michael T. The answer is, besides the fact and fake news, which has always had links, I kind of changed my mind a little on not adding links. For some stories, I'll be adding them just as a reference. Thank you for the question. But every week, the FBI section will always be just links, and you'll always get the link to the fact or fake story. I'm just not putting them in for every other one. You can Google them and find the information yourself for the other stories that don't have links. Next question. What are you looking for and must have for those you do collaborations with? This was after the Sunday Night Trivia last week when people asked about it. The answer is simple. I only have 4 basic rules. Well, there's more than that, but these are the I must-haves. Be able to articulate your thoughts. There is nothing more fun than trying to drag the information out of another party. 2, know the topic and have insight on the topic. 3, be flexible on the time for the work, and some work can be done in 20 minutes, while others can take weeks or months. And 4, have fun with it. If it's not fun, why do it? Fact or fake? Stories shared on the internet passed on to you as real stories. Some real and some completely made up. Your job is to sniff out the real story. Answer either A, B, C. in the comment section which one is the real news story. No need to tell me which ones are fake. Story A. As part of the upcoming summer, the Chicago Tribune releases their summer reading list. In the past, it's been a list of history books, romance novels, biographies, and fiction, a mixture of all of them, not just one list of each. This year's list is harder to find than ever, not because the books have all already sold out in pre-orders. It's because AI made up a lot of the titles and the covers. Is this the real story that AI made up the summer reading list for the Chicago Tribune? Or is this one of the fake stories? Story B. For the third time this year, Babu, the pet tiger, has escaped his enclosure in Dallas, Texas. Lucky for everyone, this time Babu went 3 miles and was captured in a remote part of the county with no homes or businesses. Is this the real story that a pet tiger got out of his enclosure for the third time this year, but this time he went to an area where there were no people or businesses or homes? Or is this one of the fake stories? Story C. New York, New York. True Skins LLC will be allowed to import pythons caught in Florida to the Big Apple to be raised for their skins. The company, True Skins LLC, said they plan to import as many as 20 to 35,000 snakes a year. Which story is real? They all sound equally foolish and or stupid, yet one really happened, and I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about which one is real. Again, no need to tell me which ones are fake, just to answer which A, B, or C, which one is real. A, B, or C. Which one is real? A, B, or C? Well, I got Francis going with B, Cement B, Kitty Q, and Gemma. Good morning, Gemma. Going with A. Something to talk about is going with B. Gayla's like, I'm copying Kitty Q. Pippa Dot, Cheryl, both going with B. Ladies and gentlemen, the real story this week is story A. Story number 1. The Chicago Tribune printed in their newspaper their summer reading list of all of the books that were listed on the summer reading list. Almost half of them were made up by AI. The cover of the book, the picture shown, the link to where to get the book, the title, the author, all of it was made up. It was a hallucination by the AI program that they were using. So good luck trying to find half of those books. They're going to print, a new reading list of actual books for this summer that will be from real people, real authors, and real ones that you can buy and read. But AI hallucinated the whole thing. Well, almost half of it. Question I'm asking you, the viewer. Every romance movie and every romantic music video shows what looks like an ideal bed with fluffy pillows and a perfectly fitted bed sheets. Am I the only one who has pancake, cotton, and feather pillows and bed sheets that never seem to fit correctly after the first wash? Yet I have close to 30,000 pillows on the bed, and 90% are just for looks and never used. Why don't they have those in movies and in music videos? Where the love interest is lying on a bed and there is 30,000 little pillows or pillows that are never used that every night are taken off of the bed. That's my bed. And all the other pillows that we actually use, or at least I use, are flat like a pancake. Why? I ask you, the viewers, why is it? Am I the only one? Tomorrow night's trivia is Jeffrey Dahmer again. For all those who are interested in trivia about Jeffrey Dahmer, we're going to go over some of the more obscure things about Jeffrey Dahmer, facts that have more than 3 sources for it to make sure that they are correct. Questions about Jeffrey Dahmer in his life. Again, trivia on Sunday is always at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 o'clock Mountain, 7 o'clock on Eastern Time Zone, and 12 p.m. midnight in the UK. If you enjoyed this morning's show, please consider subscribing or don't, whichever. I want to see you come back for more. If I did poorly at this, give it a thumbs down. And thank you. Thank you again for joining this week. And that's it. That is the page 2 news. Shells are squished in half. Have no idea how I do it. I use those My Pillows. I love them. They are washable and can be dried. They can be very fluffy. We've had several of the orthopedic pillows over the years. We've tried the My Pillow. We've tried all the Air Pillow, the Comfort Cool pillows, you name it. We've tried them all over the years, and at the beginning they seem to be comfortable, but then they suck. They're just not what we want. So we end up going back to the cotton pillows and feather pillows, and then they end up like a pancake, and you end up with the same thing again, all over again. We'll just let you know, Brittany has severe mental health issues. She is bipolar and has alcohol issues. Oh, I definitely know that she has alcohol issues, Gemma. I have actually met and sat and talked with her ex-husband quite a bit. He is now married to someone from my local area, and I have sat and had long conversations with him. He's actually a really nice guy, down to earth. He's nothing like what the media has made him out to be. He's just like, I don't know. I guess he's more of a blue collar and individual, and he freely admits, as well, that Brittany's problems have always stemmed from the control her family has had over her alcohol and drug use, and the people around her that the yes men who have convinced her to do the dumbest things imaginable out there. and you add mental health into it. I mean, the alcohol and drugs could be her self-medicating and refusing to take, the next step to getting mental health counseling that she desperately needs. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm from the outside looking in. But her ex-husband, I'm speaking of, in case you're not aware, is K-Fed, Kevin Federline. I've met him probably a dozen times. The first time I met him was in a casino with me and Tim, and he just came and he sat down next to me and Tim at the poker table, and we didn't know who he was, didn't care either. But then we saw the entourage behind him, and we from that point on we've met him several times, and I've met him probably a half dozen times by myself. He's a nice guy though. He's not the pompous jackass that that the TMZ and everybody else wants to make him out to be. He cares an awful lot about his kids, that's for damn sure. That one thing that he wanted more than anything was to get custody of them and get them away from Brittany, and then and make sure that they lived a normal life where they respected everyone and they respected money and didn't chase fame like she does. Brittany was a Mouseketeer. Yeah. I mean, just think how long she's been in the limelight, Brittany. An awfully long time. I mean, I'd say at this point, probably 3/4 of her life, she's been in front of the camera of some sort, either Mouseketeer or wherever, whatever she had done before, when she was younger, and then her pop career, and then doing her 2-bit acting with Paris Hilton. I mean, she spent so much of it in the limelight where so many people have been kissing her ass and telling her that there's no issues. Francie says, Will, did you hear that Tiffany Slayton, the woman who lost 24 days in the freezer snowy Sierra Mountains for 24 days? Some people are doubting her story. I know that we're going to definitely see that after, was it Sherry Papin? Was it? Well, I think that's what her name was. After she faked her, kidnapping, people are going to doubt everything. You should to a point, but I have not followed the case, and I'm sorry, Francie. Other people have been held captive an awfully lot longer than that. I mean, Sherry Papin, yeah. Thank you, Pippadot. Is it worth watch? It's worth watching. I'll definitely look into it. Definitely look into it. Sounds interesting. I mean, the Cheez-Its queen. Well, thank you. I don't have my glasses on. I'm trying to focus it. Grim Anderson. I'm sorry if I'm not seeing that correctly. I can see the Anderson, but I think that's AR. Is that an M? Argrim? I'm not sure. I'm really sorry. I left my glasses in the house, so if the letters like the R's and M's and N's and like they run together in my vision. But welcome to Page 2 News. 411 Now is the name of the channel. My name is Will Finley. I'm the creator, content, on this channel. Glad you could be here. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Check out some more of the content on this channel, and if you like it, give it a subscribe, or don't. It's up to you. We all have free will. You forgot about Sherry Papin? She threw away her career in nursing. Yeah, there's a shortage of nurses out there, in all aspects, everything from home healthcare nurses to nurses in hospitals and medical clinics. Somebody will hire her. Now, look, we've had serial killers who were nurses in hospitals who were, and they knew were most likely killing their patients, but yet they always seem to find another job. Crafted evidence. I'm on an airplane, so the connection is bad. Well, good morning, crafted evidence. Enjoy wherever you are going. I hope you're going someplace nice. Maybe you're going to Cabo San Lucas. That's where Brittany was coming back from. Is it Argrim? I don't know. For some reason it's easier to see it how Pippadot put it there. And that's an N. Again, my bad. I truly am sorry. Should have grabbed my glasses, but I forgot. I'd ask my wife, but apparently they're all going out for breakfast today. So, Francie, there's your answer. What's for breakfast? Nothing, unless I make my own. Because apparently my wife is going out with her best friend, and she's taking little man with her to breakfast. So I got no one to cook for her. I guess I could wake up my daughter, maybe. Ooh, Gemma is 231 away from 6,000. My internet is going up and down like rapidly. So it may actually end, ladies and gentlemen, without me doing anything. You can all come eat with me. All right, somebody bring muffins and scones. I'll make the coffee and tea. Ooh, Galen is having leftover sausage gravy and biscuits. Your hubby made them? That sounds good. I don't know. I might actually go somewhere and get something to eat because I have to eat something. And I'm golfing today at 10:30. It's supposed to be 86 degrees today, with a light breeze, which is gonna be nice. But I'm playing with some old friends that I haven't seen in quite a long time. But they're in town this week for a Memorial Day weekend. They came here, so I'm going to go golfing with them. For all those who have served the country, U.S. I'm always thankful for anyone who has ever served this country in the armed services, first responders, police departments, law enforcement, all of them, along with those who have served, in hospital, medical, You know, if nothing, even if you believe that the entire COVID thing was fake, you know, and you think that, you know, Dr. Fauci, you know, was, you know, just a giant freaking scam and all, or whatever you believe, nothing should have taught you, you know, anything more that was more important than first responders, those who are on the front lines, fire department, hospital, nurses, doctors, and then, you know, seeing just how much of a lack of resources that they had to deal with. I remember how, you know, when the mask mandate first came down and how you couldn't find them because we don't make them in this country anymore because we shipped all that production overseas so we could save a penny per mask. Penny per mask. That's all it was. And in some cases, some of the things that other things that we, you know, the hospitals and doctors' offices and stuff like that were short on, they didn't wasn't even a penny. They just shipped it overseas because they got tax credits for it. The government gave them credits to, you know, improve their manufacturing facilities, but never said you had to do it in America. So they shipped the, you know, the manufacturing overseas and built new factories so they can make billions more. But you should be always thankful for your first responders and those who serve your country, you know, tirelessly and without thanks. Law enforcement in particular, thank them wherever they may work. If it's in corrections, if it's on, you know, they're just a beat officer walking the street, you know, wherever they may be, thank them and make sure they understand that you appreciate what they're doing because without it, we have absolute anarchy. I don't ever want to go back to that point again. I'm sure a lot of you don't either. You take care, Crafted Evidence, and everyone. I'm going to wrap up this, you know, this morning's page 2 news. Give it a thumbs up before we jet out of here. But also, don't forget trivia night tomorrow night at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 o'clock Mountain, 7 o'clock on Eastern, or 12 midnight if you're in the UK. Tomorrow night's trivia, we are doing questions on Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer tomorrow night. But in the meantime, everyone have a great day and enjoy your weekend. Relax. Don't overdo it. Pip-a-dot. Don't overdo it. Relax. Enjoy your time. We only get this one life to live, and we never know when it's going to end. So it's better to spend the time with your family and friends than it is to, you know, work to, hey, I got to get, you know, 5 extra, you know, feet of flower bed, you know, weeded. Relax. All right. When you worked at Dunkin' Donuts, if a uniformed person came in, I waved their money away and said, thank you from Dunkin' Donuts. The craziest Dunkin' Donuts. One day I'll tell you guys a story about a Dunkin' Donuts that I was in Boston, Massachusetts. It was the craziest freaking, you know, like time I've ever been in a kind of like donut shop. Someday I'll tell you a story about that, but I got to take off. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. You all have a great weekend. If I don't see you tomorrow for trivia, bye.